whatever that intelligence has created, whether it is permanent or impermanent, it has to be true.
That's it. But when you are looking, who is looking? With what instrument you are looking? The Creator has made it. We have an instrument, the mind. Why the mind has an important role in this? You are looking at me, you are seeing me now. I am looking at you and I see you. We are not seeing the same thing. Likewise, from the placement, we are looking at the objective reality and we understand accordingly from our perspective, which is not the full understanding of what is there. And we start to believe that what we have understood is right, is real. Another person looking at the same thing and seeing from a different angle, and he feels what he has seen is real. And then this is the role of the mind. So that is the reason why masters are saying what you are seeing is not absolute. When you are trying to look, you can see, look at the truth, you can see something which is absolute alone can be the reality. Our perception is partial. With the partial capacity, when you look at the world, certainly you understand partially. Based on the partial understanding, we feel and we confirm that it is real. The world is here, but we have no instrument to see this fully. There is no possibility. And we are looking with the lens of our past. We can only see that. There is no other way. And that is why it is not complete. It is not full and perfect. We see a little part of it and we believe it is real. Somebody will see in a different way and they also feel it is real.
Our understanding may not be fully correct or absolute. But whatever is there, it is real. It is part of real.
How do you understand something is there?
Real and unreal എന്നുള്ളത് നമ്മുടെ ഒരു ഡെഫിനിഷൻ അല്ലേ?
നമ്മുടെ ഡെഫിനിഷനേ ഉള്ളൂ.
ഇന്റലിജൻസ് അങ്ങനെയൊന്നും പറഞ്ഞിട്ടില്ലല്ലോ.
അത് നമുക്ക് അറിയണ്ട.
Everything, whatever is there, it has to be true. It's part of the truth.
അത് നമ്മൾ പറയുന്നത് ആരാണ് പറയുന്ന പാർട്ട് ഓഫ് ദ ട്രൂത്ത്? അതാണ് നമ്മൾ എക്സ്പ്ലോർ ചെയ്യുന്നത്. നമ്മൾ കൺക്ലൂഡ് ചെയ്യുന്നില്ല, നമ്മൾ എക്സ്പ്ലോർ ചെയ്യുക. We are not concluding anything. Who is doing this? That question will come later. Who is knowing all these things? The one who sees, is he real? That question വരാൻ പോവുക. ആ ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ ഇനി അങ്ങോട്ട് വരും. ഞാൻ ഇപ്പോൾ ഫസ്റ്റ് പാർട്ട് എടുക്കുന്നതാണ്. Whether the mind is real എന്ന ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ വരും. If the mind is not real, whatever you look with the unreal mind will, the object of your vision could be real or not. അതാണ് ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ. ജ്ഞാനയോഗത്തിലെ ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ അതാണ്. നമുക്ക് പറയാം, oh, the world is real. Who says this? The one who says, is he real?
രണ്ട് ചോയ്സ് ഇല്ല. Either we say everything is unreal, or we say everything is real.
അത് പറയാൻ പറ്റില്ല. അത് നോക്കിയാൽ മതി. We can explore. We can explore. How can we say that something is real?
How can we say everything is unreal?
Because it is changing.
Change ചെയ്തുകൊണ്ട് മാത്രം അത് real
കാണുന്ന സാധനം അവിടെ ഇല്ല. If you are seeing this cup, the cup is not there at the next moment. It has altered. Because your perception on the cup has already altered by the little understanding you gained a second before.
ചേഞ്ച് ചെയ്യുന്നു എന്നുള്ളത് കൊണ്ട് മാത്രം ഒരു കാര്യം റിയൽ അല്ല എന്നുള്ളത് നമ്മുടെ ഡെഫിനിഷനല്ലേ.
ഇതെല്ലാം നമ്മുടെ പെർസ്പെക്റ്റീവ് എന്നുള്ളത് അല്ലാതെ ഇവിടെ ഒന്നുമേ ഇല്ല. If you don't see the world, the world is not existing. We have everything which we are doing is with our body, our senses, our mind, our intellect, our ego, and things like that. And so whatever you see with these senses, with this instrument that we have, it's not absolute because it is time bound, space bound, and cause and effect bound. That was not. അതാണ് നോക്കുന്നത്. ജ്ഞാനയോഗത്തിൽ നോക്കുന്നത്. ഇപ്പം ഞാൻ ആൻസർ പറയുകയല്ല, ജ്ഞാനയോഗത്തിൽ നോക്കുന്നത് അങ്ങനെ. Because some of the masters, they really wanted to understand what is actually the truth. So the question which you said is a right question, because you can either say it is real or you cannot say. You don't say it as real. But you are saying about something which you have understood with your mind. And whether that mind is real, because the test for the reality as proposed by the masters is there should be permanence for reality. Otherwise it cannot be considered as real. That question, whether it stands the test of reality, which is permanence. That which is not permanent, how could you say that it is real? Another question. Everything we are seeing, nothing we see is real. Because it is not following the test and giving an answer to the test. So this is what masters, they put out, the idea of question. You are not simply believing. In Jnānayoga, you cannot believe anything simply. You have to look. You are looking with your mind. Then you are questioning your mind. And finally you question and you understand that your mind is not something real because it goes on changing. The mind that we have had, the mind as an instrument that we have had when we are born is not the mind that we have today. So it goes on changing. So this mind is undergoing change. It has no permanence. If there is no permanence, it cannot be considered as real according to the masters who proposed this. We can challenge this idea. Naturally, you can challenge. Go on challenging, and then the answer will come. There will not come any particular answer, because when you are reaching the goal or the route or whatever, and there will be nothing. Because you are going beyond your mind, finally your mind stops. So the instrument cannot give an answer when you stop questioning. Then you realize you are the answer. And that includes everything that you have. So, but it can be possible for a person alone if he has that quality of exploration. Exploring what is real, what is unreal. That is, if you don't have that quality, you cannot enter into Jnānayoga. If you are just simply believing it is real, what you see is real, what you don't see is unreal. If you say like that, you are not fit enough to enter into Jnānayoga. Because you are not ready to explore. You want to believe something. There is another system. And that person can go that system and understand. So this is why the quality is fixed for a person who wants to enter into Jnānayoga as Nitya Anitya Vastu Vivekam. Otherwise we cannot enter into Jnānayoga, because Jnānayoga is a system where they are using the rational potential which is there in the mind, and finally they rule out that the rationality is not the finality. They are trying like this. അങ്ങനെ മതിയാ. അതുകൊണ്ടാണ് അപ്പോൾ ഇത് suggesting the quality. If you start to believe things, we have another route. If you start to believe things, some master says that it is God. God is the ultimate. and you believe it. And such a believer cannot enter into Jnana Yoga because he is working with the intellect. But a person of devotion, person of feelings, and he can go into his own exploration in Bhakti Yoga. A person of dynamism, or actually active, alert, dynamic person, he can find his ways. He wants to be very active physically. In this, there is no physical activity required. They are simply sitting and looking. So he has to resort to something else. So he goes for that yoga. Then some people wants to do actions. They go for karma yoga. And some people wants to continuously do some practice to explore this kriya yoga. So and when you take Jnana Yoga, you cannot apply the idea of what you call believing things. They don't believe in anything. There is no way for Jnana Yoga. So, what to do? So we need, if you are going to enter into Jnana Yoga, you need to have the quality to explore whatever you see. If that quality is not there, it's very difficult because the path is designed in this way. All the different paths are leading to the same goal, but such people cannot enter that. അത് വരും യോഗത്തിലെത്തണം. അപ്പോൾ യോഗത്തിലെത്തണമെങ്കിൽ എക്സ്പ്ലോർ ചെയ്ത് യോഗത്തിലെത്തണമെങ്കിൽ if a person has to explore through the exploration reach the Jnana Yoga, he needs to have certain qualities. അല്ലെങ്കിൽ അതിനകത്ത് ഇറങ്ങാൻ നോക്കും. അത് മനസ്സിലായില്ലേ? ഇല്ലേ? അത് ശരിയല്ല. ഇതൊന്ന് ഒരു ഡൗട്ട് ഇപ്പോൾ വേറെ മാർഗമില്ല. അതുകൊണ്ട് ഇതിനകത്ത് നമ്മൾ അല്ല അങ്ങോട്ട് നമ്മൾ വരും. അത് എക്സ്പ്ലോർ ചെയ്യാൻ പോവുക. അത് നമ്മൾ എക്സ്പ്ലോർ ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ ഞാൻ അഡ്വാൻസ് ആയിട്ട് ഈ ചോദ്യത്തിന് ആൻസർ ആയിട്ട് കൊടുക്കാൻ അങ്ങോട്ട് പോകുന്നതാണ്. ഇത് if you wanted to explore what is real, what is not real, according to Māyā and the interpreters of Jnānayoga, they say that you need to have a quality of discriminating between what is real and what is not real. ആ ക്വാളിറ്റിയാണ് നമ്മളിപ്പോൾ പറഞ്ഞത്. ഇപ്പോൾ ചോദിച്ചില്ലേ ഇത് റിയൽ അല്ല അത് റിയൽ അല്ല എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു. എങ്ങനെ we concluded it? We have explored a little and said that this is not real, that is not real. Then what is real? The idea that we feel that it is real and the idea that we feel it is unreal, both are ideas and ideas are not permanent, so it is not real, both. അതാണ് ചോദ്യം. ചോദ്യം മനസ്സിലായി? Both are unreal. And then you are continuing with your exploration. It is an interesting path for intellectual explorers. So the person who is looking into Jnānayoga, if he wants to enter into Jnānayoga, he needs to have this discriminating potential which is there, but it should be active in the person. The mind to discriminate between what is real and what is unreal. അവർക്കിറങ്ങാം. അതാണ് അദ്ദേഹം പറയുന്നത്. ചുമ്മാ ഇരുന്നാലും മതി. പക്ഷേ ഇതിലിങ്ങനെ പോകാൻ പറ്റുമോ? There is no other way proposed by the masters who made this. We are trying to enter into his root to understand what he is saying. And then the second quality, so Nitya, Anitya, Vastu, Vivekam, we are looking what is permanent, what is unreal. And continuously looking. And that quality is a quality which is required for a Jnana Yogi if he wants to enter into the path of knowledge. The second thing which he wants to have is Iha Amurta Artha Phalapoga Viragam. Murtam Amurtam. Two ideas he is saying. Murtam is concrete, the grosser. Amurtam is subtle. അവ However, the world that we are living in is a grosser world because we can experience a lot of sensations. We are living here in a tangible reality which is gross in its nature, and then we believe that it is, we can believe that it is real. And we get a lot of sensations out of it, and we sometimes get very joyful, and we get some fruits by living here. We feel satisfied. And some pleasures are coming here. All the joys that comes to a person in this world, and then in the old faith, the world after, the known and the unknown. The world after is the world that comes to a person after the death, like Sorgam, Naragam. All these concepts were there at the time when Badarayana was saying this. So when all these worlds when existing, there are some kind of pleasures comes out of this. This world, we know we are looking for joy. When we are living here in this world, during the time of life, we are experiencing a lot of things. And it gives some bhoga, pleasures. And then it is also believed that after this life, also there are some pleasures in heaven. It's an idea which was existing at that time. Or maybe tomorrow, now so far we were living in certain patterns that we were experiencing like pleasures. And maybe after some time, when your life is corrected and when you are in a peaceful position, you may also get further pleasures. And all these pleasures, including the pleasures that could come in the afterlife, is transient because it's not staying. Then the same question could be there, like, how can you say that? You have to explore. The question is on, how can you say that? Okay, we can explore. And that kind of a mindset is very required for the explorer of Jnānayoga. So when you come to the second position, the pleasures that a person is bonded with in this life and the life after are all transient, and so I need to understand something more. Because it is not staying permanently. So I need to understand something more. Some people have that bent of mind, and for them, they can easily enter there. So the quality of a Jnana Yogi includes that iha amurta artha phala poha viragam. Viragam means detachment. And if you are really attached with the pleasures of this life and the life after, certainly you will get stuck there, and then you may not explore further. Then you will not get into the point. So that is why the Master is asking you to have, the Master is saying that those who have that bent of mind, to have a detachment, vairagyam, a viragam, vairagyam, towards the pleasures of this life and the life after, is a requirement for the aspirer of Brahma Yoga, Jnana Yoga. That is the second quality. Then the third quality is Shama Dhamadi Shatka Sampati. Shamam, Dhamam, Uparadi, Titiksha, Sadhana, Samadhanam. This is another quality. Shama. Shama means control of mind. If a person is very scattered in his work with his mind, because he cannot focus his attention to anything. This is a scattered mind. No control is over the mind, and something comes, you go with that. And then another thing comes, you go with that. Another thing goes, and there is no control of the mind. So you need to have a focus to enter into the path of knowledge. If you are very scattered and not having control of the mind, certainly the mind cannot actually focus to understand what is presented before. And that he says as a requirement. And then Dhammam is control of senses. Control of senses. Senses are always jutting outside and trying to gather information from the external world. And if you are continuously doing this kind of gathering information from the external world, a lot of process your mind has to do to analyze, discriminate and understand. In this process, you may not get your time for the further deeper inquiry. And so you need to have the control of your senses, which is another requirement. Shamam, Dhammam. Then Uparati, and in that we are getting, the world is a very fascinating place that a lot of information is coming all the time. Maybe pleasure giving, maybe very beautiful, maybe sad, maybe challenging. A lot of things are happening in this world around us. And if we don't have the control over our mind to pull us back, then if we don't have, we will be scattered. So we cannot focus that attention. It indicates that the person who is aiming to understand Jnānayoga, he needs to have that kind of a control, otherwise he cannot focus. So when something influences, some information comes and influences the person, he needs to have the bent of mind to withdraw himself, so that unnecessary things, he don't need to waste his energy. So he has a more focus on things which he sees. And that kind of a concentrated mind is very essential for a Jnana Yogi, because he is working with his mind with full potentiality of concentrating to get an answer for his aching questions. That's why the Master says that Uparati is a quality of the aspirant. Otherwise, on the way we cannot focus. We go on shifting our attention, because we are trying to understand things which are very, very subtle, which is not only the understanding of with our mind. With the mind, we are trying to understand deeper than the mind, which is an impossibility, and that needs to be felt by the practitioner. Then he drops his mind. Otherwise, he feels that something is left that I can find with my mind. That's why he is proposing this quality of the aspirant. And then titiksha. And there are many hindrances for everybody who is living in this world. You are focusing, and there can be hindrances in your focusing. And so you need to have the mind to sustain the concentration, so that you can get a cleaner focus. You need to sustain your endurance. And sometimes you have to cross the obstacles. That is endurance. There can be a lot of obstacles coming on the way. And then you need to have the mind to cross the obstacles. All difficulties you wanted to cross, because your main interest is to understand what is real, what is unreal. A focus needs to be there, and for that you need to have the mind to cross the obstacles that comes on the way. And you have that kind of a mental insight to actually cross. That is the endurance a Jnana Yogi needs. Like the steps of Raja Yoga, these steps proposed by the Master. Then, next is sadhana, and the bent of mind to do committed practice. The committed practice in this is exploring, questioning, exploring, not asana and things like that. It is really intentionally questioning to find the answer. And continuous practice, long term, these are said by Patanjali, long term, assiduous, focused sadhana. That is called practice. Long-term practice, continuous practice, unhindered practice. So that means day long. You are questioning whatever is happening in the mind, you are questioning this. Is it real? Is it not real? And that is the bent of mind of the sadhaka. And then if you have that kind of a focus, you can go further. Then samadhana, a steadiness of the mind. Otherwise, if you are wavering and if your mind is not focusing on something, you explore a little and you leave it. With that mind, it is very difficult to enter into Jnānayoga system because it is working with the mind. Finally, when you look at the Jnānayoga, you can see that you are looking with the mind, understanding the mind and dropping the mind. There our question goes. Unless we understand something properly, we cannot drop the instrument. We continuously work with the instrument. We are all working with the instrument. All the talk which I am saying is from the mind, which is unreal. But it is leading somewhere. Some ideas, but these ideas are not going to be there in the reality. But it leads you because we are entangled with lot of information, lot of understanding, a heap of things are there, and we are trapped in the heap of what you call garbage. And when we are there, we may not be able to just weed out and then go. So he is proposing that the basic samadhana, little peace of mind and the steadiness of the mind is very important, and calmness is important for the aspirant. These are the qualities which he proposed in the Samadhamadi Shatka Sampati. Then the last idea, a quality the aspirant needs to have is mumukshutva. Why are we doing all these things? And if a person has the deep feeling to be free, means he will look which is bondage. And he realizes the bondage is something that is happening inside the mind. And so why not drop the whole mind? So you are free from the bondage. So in that respect, all the ideas or understanding that we are making with the mind is the bondage itself. If the mind says it is real, the mind says it is not real, both are creating some kind of bondage to you, because with the mind we may not be able to understand what is real. Then the mind projects its idea, its content, and project, and it hallucinate it and create some imagination and start to believe that imagination. And this is illusion. And so this is everything, as you said, the reality and the unreality, which is the creation of the mind, needs to be dropped. Then you come to the reality. Now we are superimposing some base with our idea by projecting what is there in the content as an idea and believe that this is real, which is not real. If you are projecting your idea and see that it is unreal, which is not unreal, what you said is right. So we are exploring, now we are going to explore the inner world, one by one. Hello, അതാണ് അതിൻ്റെ കാര്യം. ഈ ബെൻഡ് ഓഫ് മൈൻഡ് ഇല്ലെങ്കിൽ പറ്റത്തുള്ളൂ. അതുകൊണ്ട് he has proposed these are the essential qualities of an aspirant of Jnānayoga. If we don't have it, we have to look some other scheme, because they cannot enter. Highly intellectual yoga, and it is questioning the intellect also, and understanding the foolery of the intellect, and then dropping it. So it is actually looking, finding and dropping everything which is not the ultimate. And that is the work. ഇത്ര എലബറേറ്റായിട്ട് പോകണം വിചാരിച്ചില്ല. ഡോക്ടറാണ് അങ്ങോട്ട് കൊണ്ടുപോയത് നല്ലത്. അല്ല, ചോദിക്കണം. ചോദിച്ചില്ലെങ്കിൽ ഇത് ഇത്ര പറയരുത്. ഇങ്ങനെ വരില്ല. ചോദിക്കണം, ചോദിച്ചാലേ പറ്റുള്ളൂ. ചോദിച്ചില്ലെങ്കിൽ ചുമ്മാ ബാരനായിട്ട് 5 പോയിന്റ് പറഞ്ഞിട്ട് പോകാന്നാണ് ഞാൻ വിചാരിച്ചത്. ഈ 4-5 പോയിന്റ് പറഞ്ഞെങ്കിൽ നമുക്ക് തീർന്നല്ലോ, സബ്ജക്റ്റ് തീർന്നല്ലോ, കുറേ ഒന്നും കിട്ടത്തില്ല. ആ ചോദ്യമാണ് ഇതിന് നമുക്ക് അതിലേക്കുള്ള ട്രിഗർ തന്നത്, എങ്ങനെ നോക്കണം. അപ്പോൾ അതുകൊണ്ട് ചോദിച്ചുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കും, ചോദിക്കാതിരുന്നത്. ചോദിച്ചാൽ എനിക്ക് നോക്കാമല്ലോ, ഞാൻ നോക്കുമ്പോഴാണ് നമ്മൾ കാണുന്നത്. ഓപ്പണായിട്ട് നോക്കുന്നതുകൊണ്ട് നമുക്ക് എല്ലാവർക്കും ആണെങ്കിൽ നോക്കാം അങ്ങനെ. അപ്പം ഇത് ക്ലിയർ അല്ലേ? മറക്കില്ലല്ലോ, നോക്കാം. സാധന ചതുഷ്ടം.